Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream and welcome back to the channel for more Destiny 2 news and intel. And in today's video we have some new power exploits as well as weekly updates to cover. So we're going to jump right into all that information, but before we do, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram. It'll be linked in the description box down below. And remember, any of those things also enter you into any future giveaways on this channel. And we do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. And of course, stick around until the end of the video for the secret hashtag to leave in the comment section for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. Remember, those stack between all videos. So if you haven't done this on a previous piece of content on this channel, you can always go back, check out another video, and of course, do it again. So before we jump into the weekly update information, we're going to be covering some power farming and tier 5 farming for that matter, as well as some exploits that you can use to do so. So as you load into the game this week, you might have noticed that there was a prompt telling you it was a double bonus drops week or double bonus focusing drops week. It's terrible phrasing. Bungie really does not do themselves any help when coming up with the way that they decide to term these events as far as rewards are concerned. I really don't understand why they phrase it that way. But also, it's not helping that the last time we had this particular loot event, it was actually glitched out and was not working properly. This time, it is not, however, or it is actually, I think, doing the opposite. It's actually sort of glitched in a good way. So we'll just talk about that for a second. If you go to any of your portal activities, let's just click on the pinnacle for a moment because it has a lot of these. Anything that you see that has the bonus drop, you will be getting double that the first time you do it. So all of these bonus drops that you get from any of these activities, you only get them the first time you do them on a given day. They refresh the next day. So if I do the Nightmare of Galeron, the first time I do it on a day, I will get normally 4 drops. The 3 bonus drops that are unnamed, as well as the Lionfish fusion rifle, which is available. Hasn't been available enough, I don't think. So essentially I would get 4 rewards normally, because these are the 4 bonus drops, plus whatever I would also get from completing the activity. The double bonus focusing drops will now give me 8 from the first completion of this activity on a day. And then the next day, if this is also here with the bonus drops and it is refreshed, I would be able to do that again. You can do this on anything that has bonus focusing rewards or drops. So any of these activities, the first time you do them on a day will give you double whatever this says. It would be much easier if Bungie just said how many you're getting now. So they should have just doubled it for you. So they should just put a 6 here and a 2 somewhere on this, or put a 2 and then a 2, or just put 6. That's essentially what you're doing. It is not limited to a single day. It should be limited to the first run on a given day. But you could do these every single day throughout the remainder of the week. If it has a bonus reward drop on it listed, you will get double whatever that number is. So if you were to go over here, you would get 6. Here you would also get 6 for the first time you do it. Apparently, this is also working if you do it multiple times. That is a glitch. It's not meant to do it that way. And apparently it doesn't work every time. But there is a chance, if you run the same activity twice, you might get 6 drops, for example, beneath the Necropolis. Normally, you would only get 3 if you did this normally. With the bonus focusing drops added, for the weekly event, you will get 6, but that would only be the first time. After that first time, you would get no bonuses, but apparently that is not the case, and occasionally you can get the double bonus focus to work 2 times. So you have a chance of doing the same activity and getting, for example, in this case, 6 rewards 2 times from the exact same activity. But even if that wasn't the case, even if it wasn't glitched out, this is actually a really good power as well as tier 5 farm anyway, because look at how many things have bonus drops on them, and they refresh every single day. On the Pingle Ops page, it's only the Whisper that doesn't. So any of these, you will get double the bonus every single day it refreshes. But you could do any one of these in order. You could do them all on a given day. So you could just go, 8, 4, 6, 6, 4, 6. You get all of those bonuses the first time you do any of these activities on a day. Tomorrow, they refresh. All this does is encourage people to play a more diverse array of activities versus doing the exact same thing over and over again. If you went over to solo ops, let's check there. There is only 2 things with bonus drops, but you would get 2 helmets the first time you do K1 Logistics, and you would get 4 rewards the first time you do Creation. Now, the second time you do K1 Logistics, there is a chance, if the glitch is running, that you might get 2, or you might not get any bonuses. You might just get the normal drops. There's a chance you would just get there's a chance you might get 4 the second time you do Creation, or there's a chance you might just get normal drops. But you could just go do another activity with the bonuses. Just continue to do these every single day, do a diverse array of activities, do everything that has bonus drops on it on a given day, and then tomorrow it refreshes and you can go do them all again. That's how it's meant to be working. That's how it was meant to work the first time, and that's apparently how it's working now, with the added bonus of maybe getting a glitched activity and it dropping more than once. But I can't confirm or deny that. I'm sure it's happened at least a few times, but I don't know if it's a repeatable glitch. Sometimes it might just be one particular activity, and I don't know exactly which one it is. But overall, great for farming power, great for farming tier 5 loot. At any power difficulty. Tier 5 loot above 450 is raining on you. You get tier 5s from everything. Below 450, it is still very likely, depending on if you're getting more drops from an activity, the more chances you have to get any particular piece of gear. So the more drops overall, the better the RNG, the better the chance you're going to get tier 5 loot. Also, your overall power and score at the end of an activity also counts. So now we're going to cover that a little bit, because even after 3 months, apparently there is still some confusion. Now, power, as far as farming activities, is going to be changing a lot, but that's not for a little while, and frankly, I don't think it's going to make the farming easier, but it will make it easier to understand, because currently, the way that this is arranged, it's like a spreadsheet. It just doesn't make any sense. With the modifiers, I know it's a lot of personal control people have, but people just don't understand it. I took a good 3 hours the first day that Edge of Fate launched to understand this properly. And I've explained it a few times, but there is one thing that I think maybe is confusing people that maybe I haven't said, so we're going to talk about it again. Now, I'm going to talk about this in 2 ways. We're going to talk about this through solo ops, because solo ops are a little bit different as far as farming power, and then we're going to talk about pinnacle ops. Fire team is essentially the same as solo, or more similar to solo, but pinnacle is a little bit different. Still the same things you want to focus on, but there are certain bonuses you can get in fire team and solo that you can't get in pinnacle. Though pinnacle might be a little bit easier for people to understand. So we'll cover both. Let's start off with solo, as I'm sure that that's what the majority of people are farming. So because we have the double bonus focusing drops, K1 Logistics is a very good farm, at least for the first time you do it on a given day. Then I would probably jump over to Creation, but let's just talk about K1 Logistics for a minute. So I'm going to queue this up. Now, as soon as I queue it up, the game does one thing for me that's good and one thing for me that is bad. As you can see, my power is 474. Now, this is a relative thing. The fact that I'm 474 will not change the way I do this farm whatsoever. I see people saying you have to, you don't, things change once you get to 500, things change once you get to 450 or 400. They do change in terms of the actual power of the reward that the game allows you to get. So after 500, the game really only allows you to get a +2 tops. Usually it's going to be a +1. But you still want to be able to get those as often as possible, and as many of them as you can. So it slows you up in one way, but the method is still the same. The method for getting a +2 is going to be the same for when you're lower power and the game is allowing you to get like a +5. It just cuts you off at that point. It doesn't let you get +5s after a certain point. It just won't, regardless of your score. but the method for getting power in general is always going to be the same. So if I look on this first page, when I queue up K1 Logistics, as I said, the game does one good thing for me, does one thing really poorly for me. One thing that it does poorly for me is it defaults to ultimatum. I don't want to do ultimatum because regardless of what modifiers I take off or bonuses anything I do to help, buff my arc abilities or whatever, the combatants are always going to be 500. You cannot lower the combatant power at all. If they had allowed you to do that, this whole system would make a lot more sense. But you can only increase combatant power, you cannot lower it. So if I go into ultimatum right now at 474, everything that I'm fighting, even if I give myself the advantage when it comes to giving some boons to myself, combatant power is never going to change. It's not going to lower this. The boons should lower the combatant power or buff my power a bit, not just give me, I don't know. They should do something different with it. But combatant power is never going to change. But you can increase it. You can't decrease it, but you can increase it. So the thing that it is doing well for me, the thing that the game is helping me in, it is showing me that a B+ score at about right at this point is the best point where I want to be farming, because based on your bonuses that you will get at the end of a mission, which in the case of solo ops, you will get a bonus for the objective completion, but you will also get a big time bonus. Those things equate to 15% of what your reward score forecast is. So whatever this number is, if you can complete the activity in the time allotted with the objective, you will get 15% of your total reward score forecast, and that's really important. So the two things that you want to be focusing on here are combatant power, which you want to be as low as possible, and then your reward score forecast for just a moment. So I'm going to go to Grandmaster because that's going to lower the combatant power to 400, and then I'll throw on some player stakes because those increase your reward score forecast quite a bit for pretty much no cost to the combatant power. So I'm going to throw on Touche because it's better than Avant-Garde. And these are just, you can pick which ones you want, but you just want to look at this reward score forecast, and you're trying to get this at Grandmaster to about right here in the middle of B. Only in the middle of B, because remember, we are going to be getting a big bump to our score at the very end. The game does not tell you about that 15%. It doesn't say it anywhere, at least not in a way that people understand. You could put on no HUD, but I like my HUD, though I will say at the combatant power that you're going to be fighting, you will tear through them. Won't really need to worry too much about the HUD, but I'm going to keep my HUD on because I like it. I'm going to put on no starting ammo because I'm going to get plenty of ammo, and then I'm going to put on Brawn. Now, Brawn will essentially, it's not going to be tough. The combatant power is going to be really, really low. Now, if you've noticed, my combatant power has not risen at all, but my score has gone up. Now, I'm going to throw on challenge modifiers, and I'm going to throw on this Bane. Now, if you notice, one Bane, all of a sudden I'm at B+, and I'm pretty close to the neighborhood I want to be at, which is right there. I'm then going to throw on a couple other things. I'm going to throw on Counterfeit, because that's a really easy one. I'm going to throw on the Subtle Foes, because I don't care if I can't see them, I can see them anyway. And then I'll throw on, one other thing. One very easy one. So I'm not even filling out all the challenge modifiers. I am right where I want to be. I'm B+. Now, if you notice here, my reward score forecast is now 1.66 million, or 1,066,000. This score is also really ridiculous. I don't know why Bungie decided to make it in the millions. Let's just call it 1,066. Just make it easy, because this doesn't really matter. So my combatant power is 24 under where I am. So I'm going to be chewing them up and spitting them out. This is going to be really, it's probably not the best analogy to make, but I'm going to be destroying these combatants. Don't roast me too much in the comments on that one. My reward score is, as I said, 1,066 or 1,066,000. And remember, 15%. If I can get this done in the time that it's allotted, I think it's 10 minutes. If I can get this done within 10 minutes, if I have 1 second left to spare, I will get a huge time bonus. And if I can complete the objective, I will also get a bonus. Now the two together on solo ops add to 15%. It's not the same in Pinnacle, and we'll talk about that in just 1 second. But the next thing I want to do is once I've set that up, I'm going to go back to my home screen. I'm going to click on the rewards screen. So your expected rewards package. Now when you click on this doesn't tell you anything you want to know either. It doesn't give you the right information. What am I looking at? I'm looking at, well, I've got a tier 4. I want a tier 5. I'm 474. I want a tier 5. Plus 2, okay, but I want a tier 5. And this is showing me at the bottom of B+. It's not showing my reward score forecast anymore. It's just showing this. So we're now seeing this weird delta. Well, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. What you want to do is you want to click over to A. All right, now, the required reward score for A, 1,177,000 or 1,177. Okay, so that is roughly 111,000 more points than what my reward score forecast is. But, this is the big but. Remember I said 15% of your reward score forecast if you can complete this within the time and complete the objective. Now, if you complete this outside of the time it allots you, you will not get that score. You can still complete it and you'll still get rewards, but if you want the bonus, you have to complete it in the time it allots you, which in this case I believe is 10 minutes. And you got to complete the objective. But if you do those two things, 15% of, let's just do 15% of a million. That's 150,000. So I'm going to be getting 150,000 on top of my reward score forecast. So right away, I am now only 27,000 away from my A score, my tier 5 reward, and my +3 on a drop. But I'm not at a million. I'm at 1,066,000. So if I get 150,000 points added on top of this, I'm going to be getting over 1,200 points. So I'm going to crush the A score. I might even be close to an A+. And you can get an A+ from a B+ in the right circumstances, under, if you're doing the right activity. I don't think so in solo ops, but in Pinnacle ops, it's a different story for a couple of reasons. We'll talk about that in just 1 second. So, B+, where I am for my reward score forecast, if I complete the objective in the timetable, I will get 150,000 above what the reward score forecast is, which will crush the reward score required, and I will get A tier rewards, which are tier 5 and +3 power. And with the bonus drops right now, like they are, that is a lot of power. That's a lot of stuff and a lot of tier 5s. It's just a ton, especially particularly at my power, but anybody above 400, 350, you're going to be eating good doing this. But that's for solo ops. Now let's go to Pinnacle ops. Fireteam ops are generally the same as solo ops, but let's go to Pinnacle ops. Now in Pinnacle ops, you get the same 15% points bonus, but you only get it for the time. There is no points bonus for an objective or for killing enemies. In fact, you get no points for slaying out any extra adds in any of these activities. You want to just complete it in the time allotted. So in this case, I think it's also, let's say, 10 minutes for Nightmare of Galaron or Beneath Necropolis. So you're going to want to go in, queue up the exact same thing. You're going to, again, it's defaulting to Ultimatum. Forget that. Go to Grandmaster, set this up how you would need, throw on the Bane, throw on some player stakes. We already got a few of them on here. Let's do this one. Let's do that one. Let's throw on Brawn on. And then let's throw on the same stuff. Same lame things. All right, we're 1,066,000 again. If I head back, if I look on, again, the required reward score, 1,177,000. I'm going to get that same 15% of my reward score forecast from completing this in the time it allots me, which I believe, again, is 10 minutes. So if I can complete Nightmare of Galaron inside of 10 minutes, just that one encounter, I will get a 150,000 point bonus to my reward score, which will crush the A score, and I will get tier 5 rewards, a ton of tier 5 rewards, as well as +3 power. Now, the reason why people might want to consider doing this in the Pinnacle instead of solo ops is because you can actually check, I bet you didn't know this, you can check what rewards are available from that activity. And right here, why wait for it when you can just go and farm a Mint Retrograde anytime from any one of the Pinnacle Ops playlist activities? And with all the bonus rewards you're going to be getting from the Pinnacle Ops at the moment, because of the double bonus focusing rewards, and being able to make this super easy, because again, let's look at my combatant power with this setup. What is it? 450 again. So 24 under. So I'm going to be destroying the combatants. I'm going to be getting an A score. If I can complete this in the time, I'm going to be getting +3 power, and there is a ton of rewards available for bonuses, and I have a chance to get a Mint Retrograde to just randomly drop. And again, with the more rewards you get, the more chance on RNG, the more chance you might get the thing that you want. It is not available through anything other than the Pinnacle Ops, that is the Mint Retrograde, but same thing can apply for all the solo ops as well. And if you're running this with friends. But if you're running this by yourself, this is how you want to set it up. If you're running it with friends, you just, again, want to look for that same sort of score table, the B+, and you want to make sure you do it in the time allotted. I'm just going to set this up because I'm curious what rewards are available from the Fire Team Ops, if there's any different. As you can see, there is no Mint Retrograde available here. We do have the Ahab Char, but these are the same rewards as available through the Solo Ops playlist, which aren't bad ones, but Mint Retrograde is kind of like the do-all, end-all of the game at the moment. So, the big takeaway from this, focus on your combatant power, make sure it's lower than your power, and make sure that whatever your reward forecast is at the end, once you set up your modifiers, to factor in that 15% of whatever it is bonus at the end. And if that puts you above an A, you're good to go. All right, and now that I've said enough about that, let's just cover a few weekly reset things. One interesting thing of note this week, if you head over to Commander Zavala, unfortunately he doesn't have anything good, but you might have noticed that the weekly Vanguard arms rewards this week are tier 5s for some reason, at least on the weapons. We have the tier 5 sword. And apparently all these options on these rolls rotate on Fridays. At least they have been rotating on a Friday. They rotated last week on Friday. I wonder if that was just for Mint Retrograde because everybody wanted it. But also, if you do not have all these rolls accessible, because apparently they based on your previous week's Triumph score, you can now apparently buy the access with Bright Dust. So if you see just like a couple of weapons icons here instead of 3 different or 5 different rolls on swords, sometimes you might see maybe 1 roll on a sword and these 5 weapon icons. You can actually just use Bright Dust to buy those weapon icons out for the possible roll that you then have to buy again, or you then can acquire again. But first time they've been able to do that with, or first time they have done that with Bright Dust. So if you're looking for a good tier 5 sword, maybe go check one out, but interesting that they are doing that now. Over at the Eververse store for the week, some things that I actually really, really want. Remember to pick up Bright Dust, there'll be free Bright Dust here, but we have the Petrified Opal, which I think looks really, really cool, and I'm going to buy. Thank you very much. We also have the Hexer robes, which I also think look kind of cool. Sort of Iron Banner-y. Got the swords on the back. Very nice. Doing a little bit better with this stuff, Bungie, I have to say. We have the cat emote, which you saw me rocking towards the beginning of the video. I actually had this emote and I didn't even know. but that's a fun one. For the main Bright Dust page, we have the Malware Robes, which look very, very sick. Gonna pick those up as well. Thank you very much. We have the Coffee Break emote. Fun, fun. We have the Star Spin weapon ornament for the new rocket launcher. This is for Whirling Ovation, which I was just able to get this past weekend. Bully for me. I am going to pick this up as well. I don't know how I got so much Bright Dust, but glad that I do. We have the Glimmer projection, the Glimmerama projection. That's kind of fun. We have the Snarling Mask vehicle, which is not going to show. We have the Singular Condition ship. Okay. And then we have the Witchweed shell. Number of other cool shaders. I have a few, well, obviously I have all of these, but pick up any of those if you want. We will have Trials of Osiris again this coming Friday, so as well as XUR. Make sure to be on the lookout for that. Over at Banshee 44 for this week. Once again, we have a Chroma Rush with To the Pain and Tap the Trigger. This is the same as it was at the end of last week. This is actually a really, really good PvP weapon. This one with the enhanced perks on To the Pain and Tap the Trigger, excellent in PvP. 720s are in a really good place right now. Consider picking up if you don't have it. We have the Lunalata 4B lightweight frame bow with no distractions, turnabout, and the Viced Stinger origin trait. We have the Time-Worn Wayfarer. This is a aggressive frame, scout rifle. I'm trying to remember when this was from. This is like a lot like the DMT. It's sort of the legendary version of the DMT. But this one with heel clip incandescent can be crafted. Not an enhanceable weapon, but can be crafted. Actually, really, really good. I love anything with incandescent and heel clip. That's like one of the best combinations of perks that you can get for PvE. So maybe consider picking this one up. What does this one look like? Yeah, looks so much like the DMT. So it also has a range masterwork on it. Very good roll here, even though it can't be enhanced. We have the Legato 11 with auto-loading holster, Focus Fury, can be enhanced. We have, I don't know how to pronounce the name of this one, but this one with stats for all, this sidearm with stats for all and Frenzy. Vanilla weapon, can't be enhanced at all. We have a Thin Precipice, can be crafted with Balanced Guard, Steady Hands, and Chain Reaction, and the Unsatiated Hunger origin trait. Also, as I said, can be crafted. Remember, if you're buying bounties from Banshee 44, one of the few places you can buy bounties anymore, after the one additional bounty, you are just going to be spending your Glimmer, and it's not actually going to give you anything, because that's glitched out. Maybe Bungie should fix that. So you only have the 3 bounties available now. Under the Focus Decoding page, we have the XUR'S weapons, as well as the Nadar Tex weapons. The Casadio weapons. Nothing stand out. Nox Perennial is really good, can be enhanced, but remember to be on the lookout for when the Viced weapons are available, because the Viced crate has the Adagio trait still broken on it, and man, is that weapon good in PvP. I mean, it is better than a tier 5. Definitely better than a tier 5, especially an enhanced version. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll just show you mine. My character at the moment, and I don't play any Crucible, be it Trials or Iron Banner or anything without this weapon. But actually, it can't be enhanced, unfortunately. But this is just a vanilla weapon. I have a range masterwork on it. This perk doesn't really matter. You just want Adagio and the range masterwork. I've tried to figure out exactly how or why this is bugged. I think it has to do with the Viced Stinger origin trait. And if you read the 2 of them, after defeating a target, this weapon fire charges, After defeating a target, this weapon fires, charges, or draws more slowly and deals increased damage for a brief period. It's such a terrible description. Like, the wording, the way that they word these things is just annoying to me. But essentially, after defeating an enemy, your rate of fire slows, but you get more damage for it. It's about a 30% damage buff, but the rate of fire slows from a 720 down to about a 600, I think, normally. That doesn't happen with this. You retain the 720 rounds per minute, you get a 30% damage buff just because of this particular broken perk on this weapon, and I think it's broken because of the combination of Vice Stinger, where if you read Vice Stinger, damaging an enemy with this weapon has a small chance to reload the magazine and increase movement speed while aiming down sight. And then this is the part that I think is broken. Bows receive faster draw speed, and swords receive faster charge rate while this perk is active. Now, it specifies bows and swords, but I think maybe this gun is so old it's coded as a bow or something like that, and that's why it's not slowing down. What you would be getting for the draw speed, you're actually just retaining the rounds per minute, and yeah, and you're getting the 30% damage bonus from Adagio. And that's going to conclude most of the information in today's video. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. We're also just going to head down to A1 really quick, check out what her shaders are for the day. As far as other glitches and things that you can use, or exploits for farming that you can use, still active. Remember, the loot cave is still active. So if you don't know what that is, I'll just show you in 1 second. But if you've made it to this point in the video, remember to leave a hashtag Archie, and always go and say hi to Archie, or you could leave a hashtag GoodBoyProtocol in the comment section down below for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. A1 this week has a couple of cool shaders. What do we got? We got the Lycan armor set. We have the Shadow Glit. We have the Mercury prosthetic, and then we have the Dead Orbit camo. Probably said that. Prolithic. Probably said that incorrectly. You can also let me know what I said incorrectly in the comment section down below for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. You've watched my videos before, I'm sure. Most people know what I'm talking about. As far as the loot cave goes, still active over on Kepler. And yes, I do own the expansions before anybody gets on about that. I'm just on my PC, and I choose not to buy expansions on every single platform that I play on, and I'm recording that. But head over into the Caldera. Make sure that you have the bonus to tier rewards at the Altar of Reality, and then basically just head down into the stacks. The loot cave there is still very much active. I'm sure most people have seen something on it, but just give an update on that. You never know when those things get fixed. And that is going to conclude, again, finally, all the information for today's video. Bit of a long one, I'm sure, but hopefully you found something in this video helpful, information helpful. Maybe it'll help you farm out those bonus focus drops as much as possible this week. But once more, I am Wilhelm Scream. Thanks so much for watching, as always, and of course, we will see you next time. Little